welcome, everybody. Welcome to BeoTalk 234.
Oh God.
Certain people aren't here because they couldn't handle the heat, like Eric and Henrik. But we'll see where that ends. As per usual, if you want to help the channel out, super chat will guarantee you an answer to your topic and or question. Or if you want to be a super duper bro, come to our Discord and boost it. We've reached level 2, which is fucking amazing. So thank you all the Discord boosters. So now everybody has an upload limit of 50 megabytes. So if you ever have any... Well, normally it's 8, but if you have a problem with something that you want to take a quick video of, 8 megabyte on my phone anyway is like 20 seconds.
Not even.
Well, apparently it's up to 20 seconds. I've uploaded several 20-second videos and that just went.
What does it shoot in? Like, it's got to be very low resolution.
And I think I've manually turned it down. Like the standard resolution is, I think, 4K 30.
So I did the same thing on my phone, but I just, it's hard to send emails. Anyways.
So we have that. Go buy something cool from Skinyplay because B&O launched some new covers for the A9 to celebrate the 10-year anniversary. But I think the covers are like €500.
What?
So, Skinyplay seems awfully cheap by comparison. And if you use my discount code, it gets even cheaper. There's not really... there is a small kickback, but that goes directly into the channel and Discord. But you don't have to. They also have their own code up here, so if you don't feel like using my code, use theirs. Also gets you 10% off, so that's sweet.
Can you use both?
Not consecutively, or not on top of one another, I don't think.
Oh, they didn't put a second
column. The only
column.
cover that works for is the one with your face on it.
Fuck. Nobody's buying that, please. Stay away.
So, hold on. We're also on Twitch if you hate YouTube for some reason. Go over to the Twitch side. That'll be good. Become a channel member if you haven't yet. That also helps out a great deal. And you get a Monday show in the members only section. And depends on what it is. Haven't figured it out yet. But now that Discord is much uprated, we can do fun things with that. I think that's about it. How's your week been?
Busy. Thursday I got stood up by the BLI guys for the conference call. Sound went sideways and they couldn't connect and didn't get an email. A little bit of it feels bad because I booked the whole day in the shop to deal with this.
Mm-hmm. And
then on Friday, we moved it on to the same day. The gentleman is in the whole office, I guess, like the tribe where they're doing this from is in Uruguay. Interesting. So
okay. Yeah.
At least that's where he is. And there's a whole bunch of B&O gear you
that's
can see
behind him. That's some proper remote conferencing.
Like, what the fuck? We had good internet for what was good internet. We actually could conference call. So I got that morning when I got to the Friday, end of the week. I did some installs and whatnot. That was besides the point. But I got to the office or to the shop. New firmware was available, so I installed that. Immediately after that, the Lutron issue was fixed with the login issue that it had. So it just couldn't. So that's done. So a whole bunch of stuff that he'd explained. It's still in an infancy mode as far as Beosound Theatre and most of the Mozart products, how they do link together. Because I'll get into that in a bit. And then I ended up with a much simpler macro than what Henrik wrote me because I couldn't figure out what the heck was that all about. So I have the clock and the weather on the Halo as well.
Sweet.
So yeah, the guys were like, "Holy fuck, man! Everything's working." And the Lutron lamp, you can dim it up and down. So everything has gotten fixed, and now they're starting to see the full potential of what you can and can't do with the gateway, right? And I think I'm going to be doing a lot more programming for them, because they're going to start pushing it to people's houses if they, usually obviously like you need to have an understanding of it, so I'll have to run some courses, I guess, with the guys to train them on it. But I would also like to have some courses, which he was saying that there's no more, like there used to be training courses for the BLI and BeoLink gateway, but there is no more for this. So, what's going on there with the A9? Somebody?
He doesn't take the cover off because out of fear of not getting it back on again. And Skinyplay raced you like a year ago, and
I lost hard.
Somebody did it in like 10 or 11 seconds.
I think I think the 7 seconds is what the Skinyplay did. It was ridiculous. It was embarrassed the whole world. Yeah, literally, he was putting it on like socks, man. Like, just slip it on. But anyways, so the weird thing is, like, if you have, I don't know, well, you don't have a, well, now you have a theater.
Mm-hmm.
So for me, like, what the problem was, oh, well, you don't have a second TV. Like, there's too many fucking products in the shop, of course, right? So there's all these TVs, and they're all playing something on a USB. If I join and the shape is playing the radio, all the TVs are muted, right?
Yeah.
Shape is playing. If I press and hold play and I join the balance, it'll first join to the Eclipse 65. I press again, hold. It goes to Harmony 65, 83, Contour 48, Contour 55, and then Theater, and then it finally joins the fucking shape. And I cannot fix that unless you write a macro that, like, let's say a party mode, and then you actually have to go to the status, product status page, not the monitor, the product status page, and you have to copy that little goofy, unique ID that each product in your house has.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting because it's at Bang&Olufsen.dk, so it actually is on the server. So I think what's going on with the BeoLiving, and also like with just a regular network link, I think that everything actually talks back to the server in the meantime while it's playing to you. So they always know what's playing, what's being done. I think I'm not wearing a tinfoil hat right now, but 5G's real, bro. So I just think that because obviously, like, they can see your status, and like they can log into your, like, he logged into my gateway, I pressed the button, held it, blah blah blah. That was also a little goofy sequence that I didn't understand how to do from what he was saying, right? So I did that, and then he just shared his screen with my gateway on it, and then we created all the macros, and he explained how it all works. And you only need to show me one way, and then show me the other way. So from the Mozart to the ASC, and from the ASC to the Mozart to join. And once I knew that, fuck, man, I had the whole store programmed within a few hours with everything that whatever we wanted. So loving it.
Sweet.
So yeah, that was my weekend or week, and yeah, not much happened here. People are dressed up all fucked up because it's Halloween, right? So.
Oh yeah. Happy Halloween and
trick ass treat. Yeah, it's weird, man. Just weird going down. I just like realized when I was walking out of the Stogies yesterday, going home, everybody's in costume. Like, oh yeah, shit, because nobody was wearing anything in the cigar bar. Because it's more or less, it's like a gentleman's club, right? Like people come in dressed in suits and shit.
Come in your Cuban attire.
Exactly. Some do. And so once I walked on the street, it was just like freaking Walking Dead, right? Everybody's all fucking zombied out. And of course, girls with their slutty costumes.
Yay.
It was nice out, so they could afford to wear them, but I don't mind that. So lots of nurses and stuff walking around. I appreciate the looks.
Oh god, I knew I forgot something. We're also on bloody Substack, so if you want an audio-only version of this content creation, it's available there about an hour or two after the show ends.
And how many did you upload?
We're at. I just started at 228 or
Oh, okay.
227, and I haven't. Like,
Right.
if people want the back catalog, I'm happy to edit it down to just the audio and upload it all. But so far, people have just said, no, the newer stuff is fine. Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
So,
Must work for you too.
I mean, I'm happy to do whatever people feel like. It's just if I have to start at 1, it's going to take fucking ever. But I
Yes,
will
indeed.
do it if people desire it.
So I also figured out what the heck was wrong with our TV and the theater. I don't know
Oh,
if I
okay.
talked about this last week or not, or
What, the rattle, you mean?
yes.
No, you talked about that it rattles, but not why or how.
So why the rattles? Fucking Kareem ordered a C2 instead of a G2 panel on it, which is obviously Dollarama built versus a properly built LG panel. It's the fucking boards are dancing inside the panel, bro. Literally.
Seriously?
Literally, I have a video of it that I took. I have to ship it or send it to BNO. I'm just waiting for my ROS to be set up so I can start a claim and whatever. But literally, the boards, like you can see them, just like they're literally moving, like in slow motion in the camera, right? Because like the bass is just tearing the fuck out of it apart, man. I'm like, I looked at, like, you know what, man? Like that TV, like if you buy a cheap ass TV for a theater, you will have the fucking boards falling off of it within a year. There is no way that that'll survive the amount of vibration that that thing produces.
But we're talking about the whole stand TV configuration, right?
Yes,
Because
the
my
more
panel
the more
doesn't rattle at all.
well, no, because it's separate too,
Yeah,
right? Like, and you have a concrete ass wall behind you, but again, it's hanging on a fake wall basically, right?
yeah.
But no, it's and what do you have for a panel?
C2?
And there's nothing, no
No.
vibration. See, because it's enough separation that it doesn't carry through.
Also,
But
the mount is it's not as solid of a mount because you can sort of. It's one of these mounts I bought intentionally because there's a little. You can sort of literally pull it towards you and flip out a foot locker, so you can like get underneath it and route cables and stuff if you want to.
oh, okay.
So I guess the TV isn't as like on the wall like solidly, like you can literally move it a bit with your hands, which is to me really handy for access and getting to cables and that sort of stuff.
But nothing resonates or sings with it.
No, I mean I've heard my door shaking before. I heard anything from the TV.
But yeah, it was weird because you couldn't really hear it in the movies because there's just too much going on and actions going on and whatever. But when you play whatever troubled crossing troubled water or whatever the heck it is, that song that like it's just it's his demo, and when you hear it like 15 times a day, you just want to slit your wrist and punch the speakers.
Enough already.
Right? So it's like ah, and everybody has one, so it is what it is. I'm not judging. It's just sometimes I just have to fucking walk out of the showroom if I'm there. I'm like, I need to listen to something different. But that particular song absolutely tears apart the panel. Absolutely tears
But
apart the
is it a
panel, man.
55 or a 65 or what size are we
It's a
talking?
65. It's a 65.
I wonder if there's a difference in sizes as well.
I'm sure there's a difference in how the board's arranged
Yeah.
because there's way more room or real estate, right? For the I guess the bigger the panel you go, the more room you have to play
I mean,
with.
because that's an 83 and that back panel is. It seems like it's thinner, but it could be just because it's so much larger that it seems thinner.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it seems quite solid when on this size anyway. So I
Mm.
don't know. It's interesting. Yeah, twice this week though, and I'm not sure if it's a theater related or not. I've been having to do cable management again. Well,
Oh,
one was elective because I decided that since there's a switch in the theater, that I was finally going to wire the theaters and or TV for internet. So I
Okay.
took the Ethernet cable that's in the 50s out, pulled it all the way back, put it in the theater, and then routed a new cable from the switch in the theater to the 50s. And that works perfectly. So in terms of that, B&O, great setup, finally. I love that you can loop that through. Because if I look on the settings on the router, the panel has Ethernet, as in wired, the theater does, and the 50s do. And the 50s on wireless are notoriously bad for responsiveness in the app. At least mine have always been. I don't know if newer software has changed it, but I daren't look.
Just do it.
So, so I've done that. And then obviously the cable for the 28 started buzzing. So every time you went volume up or down, it's like, good God, because it's so tight back there with everything that's packed in the theater. Apparently, it just sat a bit weird and it lost the ground. And then you take
weird.
it off and it's like, oh, it's gone. So you put it back and it's like, oh, something pressed on the cable and it's back again. So it's God, that.
So you have to use the thin power links, I guess, then, or are you running the thick ones? Well, you have to run the fully seated to the 50s, regardless.
Yeah, so I'm Cat 7 to the 50s, Cat 7 everything really. And then today my 18 started low humming for some reason. And
what do you mean?
I turned the TV on and you just say.
What?
And so I go to the back of that 18 because they're looped through. I do that with the cables and the buzzing goes away. Switch channel. God damn it. So I took all my cables out again and rerouted them nicely and put the power cords further away and it's fine again. It's just like
B&O needed you to work around it a little bit.
I haven't touched any of it in like a year, if not longer. So the only thing I can think
do you think that the
happened,
connectors just rattled loose over time from sound vibration?
None of the connectors were loose. So I don't know what it is. The only thing I can think of is that the cats got back there and started doing that in between all the cables and maybe they were scared at one point and like nails out and like touch something in a wire or something.
Yeah, because like for the 28s, it's a pain in the butt to just get into the goddamn cable cable sockets, right? Because you got to take the lamellas and the front grill off, and it's a headache.
Yeah.
And if you want to take the backbone off, you have to take the little screw at the front off, right? Because shit don't come off.
No, it
works,
but it's very intricate.
Yes.
So it's I don't know, it's a bit. I like it and I don't like it because it's not easy to add anything. The 50s are a lot easier that way.
Well, you pull off the cover and there's a huge empty spot, right, where you can actually fit your hand and work with shit and not bend the heck out of the connectors.
Although you still are sort of what's that Indian sex thing called? Like you're sort of going like, where is everything?
The Kama Sutra.
Yeah, that. You're finding new positions to look at your cables and your holes.
The cabling Kama Sutra. All right, I'll take that.
So I did a bunch of cable work, and it's like, and it's good again, and it's a lot cleaner. But it's like I still haven't done anything other than literally that, and it was okay again, and cleaned it up a bit.
Maybe Steve took a little clipping of your wire and voodooed your shit.
You need to buy better wires.
That's right. You need better cables when you leave the US.
I mean, yeah, I'll take as much as I can with me just to have it, but we'll see where we end up and if it even works. I bet you Wi-Fi will work a lot better in the US anyway in a freestanding house than it does here.
You know what I don't understand is that we, because I'm part of the team now, don't use fucking Cat 7 only when needed. I'm like, for the amount that you guys charge for the install and the amount or the equipment that we are installing, in my opinion, should have, like if you're putting like we installed this Burmester amp, right? Like it should have a network in it, right?
Yeah,
And
one would.
but it shouldn't run like a blue cat cable that you got out of the box that the fucking router came with. Like in my opinion, yes, it'll work, but like, shouldn't you have a Cat 7 grounded cable that goes into a grounded plug from a grounded plug? You know,
You can get Cat 5 and Cat 6 grounded cables, or are they generic unshielded cables? Is that what you're saying?
generic unshielded bullshit cables, right? With cheap aluminum wires instead of, you know what I mean? Or like those little like headphone jack thickness. Like we got patch cables that are the thickness of like this.
Hmm.
I don't like that. Like if I'm running into whatever, I just like using, yes, they're $5 a plug. So what? You're putting $50,000 speakers or $30,000 system in, whatever. I think the cables are important. Not
I
that I
think so too.
think, I believe it is. They're important, and finally now they're starting to ask, what is your network like in the house? Because that's another thing that they, what I find here is that a lot of the stuff is actually managed off of just uh, the providers, the internet provider routers. That's it. I'm like, what the heck, man? Like that shouldn't be like that, but it is. So I don't know. I guess I have a low tolerance and a high demand for quality, and I have a low tolerance for bullshit because I can't deal with that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Uh, I swear by Steve's cables because I have a bunch of cables from here, there, and everywhere, and several
Hmm.
different brands. Uh, but so far, Steve's cables are by far the most flexible, but hardest to kink in the tightest of bends. Where the Cat 7 cables I have, you see that outer sheathing like crumple up if you make the
Yes.
same tight bend. And then there's the, if you get the proper RJ45 connector, it almost feels like it's sucking itself in a vacuum when you
Yeah,
put
it
it
just
in.
clicks in properly. Yeah.
I mean, some of the two of the cables I have, one of them is the one that buzzes most. Is like you can literally wiggle it in the port,
Mm. Yeah, that's no good
and I guess that's where it sometimes loses the ground. It doesn't happen as much anymore with the theater, but with the harmony, with that whole
because it
pack of
moved.
cables, it's constantly like put strain on stuff. I mean,
No, but it moves every time you turn on the TV, right? So there is always that micro stress that occurs inside the sockets by default of just that cable being moved about.
and the cables I have from Steve just never did that because they're always solid and they don't
Hmm.
move. It's weird how that goes because they look the same and they're rated the same, but they're not the same, and you don't notice until you have them in your hands.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, it's true.
is your website open, Steve? Because I'll happily send people there. But the last few times I showed your website up,
It's so time down.
it's,
Get the timer, bro. Oh, no. There's some
so
business to do.
you click on
Nope.
that link again tomorrow or any day hereafter. Foundheavenly.com.
Taking a break for the weekend. Back in the morning, right on.
He's scaring the locals.
That's right. Oh yeah, you got trick or treating over there now too.
Yeah, yes, the Halloween people.
God.
Trick or treat. I snip your cables.
Oh boy. But yeah. So yeah, what's with this NFT nonsense that BNO just came out?
Well, you're the crypto bro between the both of us.
I saw it come in. I don't know, like with the metaverse. So what are they selling to Bookface?
Not two. I think you can put them in your metaverse on Facebook on the metaverse. Well, Facebook is not Facebook anymore, but anyway, Facebook is now Meta, right? Like the parent
Yeah.
company's Meta, and they're making this sort of Second Life looking type of Facebook thing where you can
Yeah, you can own stuff. I saw that with the what's his face dummy,
with the Zuck.
Zucker. Yeah, Zucky when and his 3D model and all that nonsense.
It's all smoothed out.
I actually thought that these were real products for a bit. Like those legs, I like, man. That's cool. The Beogram kind of checked me like, you didn't fucking just come up with another variant. Not a limited edition, but this is all NFT fake. I guess this is a file, or is it like 3D object that you can own in the metaverse
it's a
and use
file
it?
that's a 3D object, and I mean anything 3D you can. Sort of
So how do
paint
you
it.
listen to the A9 then in an like as an NFT, or is it just something that is like a dick swing move in your house that you have that you buy in the metaverse? Because I know that you can buy properties, right? Like, as I watched Joe Rogan, and he had, I don't know who he had on the podcast, but the guy was explaining that metaverse nonsense. To me, it's nonsense because I don't know, I don't see it as me living in a virtual space. But no disrespect to people that would love to do it.
I'm looking at the poll, and my poll was: I fully understand NFTs. Yes, 18%. No, 55. What? 27.
Keep it going, keep it going. We got more people watching, so yeah, join in and yeah.
So apparently, enters the metaverse. How would you say, snobiety?
Snobbery.
Yeah. Well, anyway, I'll put it in chat for people if they want to read it.
What is wrong with the plate? Not the platter, but the actual. It's weird looking.
Well, since it's 3D and all rendered, right? You can make anything.
Fair.
So none of this stuff is quote unquote real, but this is where it gets weird. And I know you NFT bros are very passionate about this thing, and any criticism is like if I hate it or something. But that's not the case. I mean,
How much is it? How much is this shit?
They won't tell us yet. They will tell us in like 17 days.
These are cool looking, by the way. That's something that I would like get, but these are cool looking. They almost look like a rendering from a thermal vision.
Almost, yeah.
Yeah, like it looks very.
I mean, it couldn't have come at a worse moment because earlier, was it like 9 months ago or so? A share of Meta was $300, and now it's like 100.
Yeah.
I mean, it dropped like 20% in one day last week, and it was around the time BNO announced.
But I like this look of the 90s though, bro. I do like it. That's a good NFT, whatever that means. It's like I don't think I would buy
For the people
file.
that don't know, an NFT is a non-fungible token. It's basically a proof of ownership file. If
or in layman terms, there's no mushrooms growing on it.
Yeah, so it's sort of like you own the original digital property that.
It's like having the real Mona Lisa painting in your house, basically.
Yes.
That is certified, right? That like everybody can buy that thing and spread whatever mayonnaise on it, but this one would really matter.
Except it's there. This is where I feel it's super weird because actually it's not. Because if you go to the B&O website, there's actually terms and conditions into buying this stuff.
Of course they are.
Because you don't fully own it. You don't ever fully own this. Where is it? Here, what can I do with my DNA collection? Just DNA is weird to me, but whatever. NFT collection NFT. You can make any personal non-commercial use you would like. So first of all, you do not have the rights to this thing for commercial use. So if I buy the Mona Lisa, right, and I want to invite people to come and visit the Mona Lisa in my room, and I want to charge €5 to enter my house to see the Mona Lisa, That's my fucking right to do so. But apparently with these NFTs, you do not have the commercial use for it. So it says you can make any personal non-commercial use you would like. You can download the file, show it off online, text it to your friends, email it to your mum, or stare at it in your wallet. In the future, you will be able to show it off in your DNA collection NFT across the metaverse or across metaverses such as Decentraland, On Cyber, and Open Metaverse.
I didn't know that Decentraland was involved in this too. Interesting.
Well, it's on the Ethereum blockchain. For people that don't know what that is, it's
I'm getting a beer because this is getting good. Anyways, explain.
So for people that don't know what that is, it's basically anybody that is a part of it can see who owns what. And it doesn't necessarily mean by name, but which user owns what. So if that trades hands, everybody will know at the exact same time. So you can't really forge anything because everybody knows what's going on when. And that's more or less how cryptocurrency works. Because if I have 1 Ethereum and I give Willy 1 Ethereum, everybody that has any Ethereum will know that I user
you can
0001 gave it to user 0002.
Yeah, you can. It's always on the blockchain.
So you can't forge stuff like that. It's not like cash money that I can like badly do in a printer.
Yeah.
But to me, if this is worth buying, I don't understand
the function of it.
Well, I don't understand how you cannot have the commercial rights to it. Because if I buy a piece of art, any other kind of art, I own it, like fully. And if I want to commercialize it, that's fine, and I just have to pay tax on that. But here they basically say you can pay us money and you'll have it, but you can't make money off of it. Not really, anyway.
But it's not even if you were to make money off of it. What if you just wanted to display that art on the TVs in the B&O store?
Well, that's okay. But you could potentially probably get sued over that because it's technically a commercial enterprise.
Well, that's insane.
I don't know how that goes. I mean, there is terms and conditions that they probably have to be clearer about because regardless of what you think about NFTs or whether it's a good or a bad idea, Julius Lowe, if you own the Mona Lisa, you don't own the person. You own the artwork. You can't make that woman do stuff she doesn't want to. You don't own her. You own the artwork. Yeah, exactly. But if I buy an NFT of you, I don't own the artist either. I paid the artist for a piece of art.
It's like somebody saying that if I've had an artist make me a bronze statue and I bought it from him, then he has the rights to reclaim it anytime he wants because it's not really mine. That's fucked up a little.
I mean, one thing that is confusing to me also is if you resell your NFT, your piece of art, the person that made it or has made it still gets a cut from your resale.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, like you don't own the design of the A9. No, I don't care to own this. I just care to own the A9.
But surely a piece of art of the A9 is not the same as owning the design of the A9.
Like, I could care less for the technical drawings and how they got there. I just like the product, so I bought it.
You own what the artist did with the A9, sure, but that's the piece of art, right? Like, there's a design in the art that is not. It's from something. It's weird to me that you I mean, we buy a phone unless we are all renting our phones from Apple because Apple has the design for the iPhone. This is weird. Like, this is strange. Like, if this was currently the case that you give Apple like €1,000 and you are technically renting your phone, it's like, okay, bye Apple, I'm gonna go Android.
Yeah, I would agree with Mr. Rose that it's I can't believe this is anything but publicity and wanting to be relevant. I think it's a publicity stunt as well. I don't think that this is going to be relevant, and I'm sorry for all y'all that I'm a big BNO fan and a huge collector. All right,
Same.
I don't give a fuck about these fungi tokens, whatever they are. I don't care. I honestly don't care, and I don't care if you do. That's good for you, but I'm not in that metaverse thing. Like I just don't see a value in it. Maybe if I played a certain game that this would matter or be relevant to me, I would probably purchase it. But I'm not in that world, so to me this is it's irrelevant. Absolutely irrelevant. But
I mean, I don't see the argument. Sorry, Julius, but I don't see the argument that it's the design of the A9 that you somehow don't own, and this is why it's like that. Because if I buy a painting of an A9, I own the bloody painting, and it's not like B&O then can say, well, that's the design of the A9 because you have a painting of an A9. Wait, so if I myself paint an A9, I have to pay B&O because I painted my A9? Like, this doesn't make any sense.
yeah, I just don't get it. Good for them that they want to try to be within the relevant society of the cryptos and stuff. And
The thing is,
good
I
for
don't
you.
even hate it, but to me it feels like $1 short and a day late. Because this whole NFT thing was massive like a year or so ago.
That's right. Yeah, they should have gotten on that board about a year and a half ago. But
I mean,
it's typical BNO.
I'm
They
sure
always
this is
late.
more of a marketing exercise than anything else. And I don't mind that. It just seems like it's to me it's weird because B&O is fucking strapped for cash like crazy, and it seems like this is not exactly cheap. So why do this now? It as a standard business thought, it makes no sense. In terms of design and coming up with interesting things, I like this sort of.
So what are they gonna do then? Turn all that ether that they buy, that they get off of people, to liquid cash? I think that'd be silly to just like go back to fiat with that
What
money.
if
Or
they have a bunch of suppliers in countries they'd rather not say that they'd rather not pay in real cash because it's traceable? And they just need a bunch of Ethereum to buy stuff from Russia or something like that.
well, fuck! I think that the Ethereum is more traceable than cash. For God's sakes, like it's all on the blockchain. Like everybody would know where that money went to who, essentially, or whose wallet. Where banks don't fucking tell you that.
Well, I doubt B&O has a person that drops off bags of cash somewhere. Like, I'm here for the microchips.
Yeah, that's right.
I have your bag, sir.
So everybody's speakers now gonna slow down because they're gonna use them to mine Ethereum through them.
Code word Beocom 5.
That's right. So I don't know. I just I don't I'm not drinking that Kool-Aid. I don't even like the color of it nor taste. So it is what it is. Good for them that they're doing it, but I think that essentially, if I were to say this, like, how late are you to the party? Even the drunk girls are gone now. So it's just there's no point in my eyes. But it looks cool, you know.
I mean, here, this was this part. I'll just read. The SVP, head of business development and brand collaboration, Christopher Östergaard, Olufsen. I don't know if I said it right. Shared the following insight with high snobiety. From collaboration with Balenciaga earlier this year on speaker handbag hybrid to entering the metaverse with DNA collection, we walked a line of respecting our heritage while evolving to the future and shifting digital landscape. That's okay. I sort of follow, but I have questions. This venture into the metaverse allows us to extend our design and music lover community that wants to be intrigued by thought-provoking projects and experiences, putting culture and innovation first. This is our first step into the metaverse, and we're excited to be part of the evolution as the creator economy and digital culture evolve. It's just like, this is buzzword, buzzword, buzzword. Because a creator economy is like, I make stuff and I sell it. This is what we've had for thousands of years. Unless we're talking specifically about creating data. Because this is basically data, because it's not tangible in any way other than data.
I wonder how big that file for the 90s is. Can you put it on a floppy disk? Like, be real, like
be real secure for when the EMP hits.
Nobody gonna read this shit in this time and day. It's a JPEG. Oh god.
Well, JPEGs can be enormous.
Maybe not.
I've had JPEGs that are over 5 megabytes. So.
I guess for a floppy now that we're talking.
But what to me is really weird is like, why not have something specific for the music lover community that lives in the digital world? Surely your digital sound signature matters fuck all if it's played digitally through whatever you have on your head. You better be sure that's B&O at that point.
That reminds me of a story when one old lady that owns a Beovision 740 with the, underneath the soundbar thing, the 771, 72. And then she comes into the shop and she's like, where do you guys have that Bose Wave radio? It sounds so good on my TV when I watch the commercials.
Yeah.
I'm like, because you're listening to it through a B&O speaker commercial. Like, that's... So to that valid point is, yeah, the B&O sounds great on my Sony whatever, Phonetopias or some nonsense. Like, I just don't get it. So, like, what if then do you have to buy like H95s? Oh yeah, dude, they're not gonna have moment in the metaverse.
No, but can they upgrade the moment to work in the metaverse? So it's like you go to the touchpad and it just does what.
Oh my god, the flow button works again. That would be cool. Then I would buy that NFT.
I mean, to me, this is very, very multi-layered. Some layers are neither here nor there. Some are very questionable.
I think it's passé and it's silly at this point of time. That's just my opinion. I think that they had missed the boat and the train and the Uber or whatever was the last ride option they had. I think they just finally got there on a bike, and we have a full backpack of this cool shit, and everybody's looking at them like market's closed.
I mean,
by now
it does seem like a little buzzwordy blockchain, because I remember like a year or two ago there were like publicly traded pharmacies and stuff that it wasn't CVS but something like CVS or Walgreens, right?
Mm-hmm.
And they changed their stock traded name from Walgreens CVS to Walgreens CVS blockchain, and their stock shot up because it was blockchain. So it seems like
so it's just bullshit advertising. That's funny.
Well, it was a hot button word, and the algorithms of the publicly traded, the stock exchanges were like, ooh, blockchain, that does well. So we're just going to pump it because blockchain.
Mm.
It's like, okay.
What I like about this discussion actually is the fact that there's a lot of people in chat that never really commented on anything. So I very much appreciate for your
like and subscribe,
your involvement. Yeah, because that just helps the algos. But yeah, I guess good on us for NFTs because freaking.
Also, if we're being dumb, tell us. I don't think either of us really mind. Do it in a somewhat normal way, but. Like, if we're, like, totally wrong, I don't think either of us is immune to criticism.
I don't mind being corrected about this, but to me, this is just a bloody joke at this point. But, like, this was real. This was real when it was on Rogan's podcast being talked about. That's when it was really real, because that's when a lot of people... He's got more viewership than any major fucking alphabet network combined here. So, if you look at it at the the time scale where this was talked about on his podcast and how cool it was, that's where, like Snoop Dogg bought freaking house in the metaverse, and then people fucking flooded in to be his neighbor in a fucking game, bro. Like, that's not even like real. Like, you just don't just see him and pass a blunt over a fence type of thing. Like, that doesn't happen. Like, you're just you're whatever dweeb thing you
Actually,
are in the
yes,
metaverse
because
is.
one of the first things that happened in metaverse is that they had to rewrite the rules because young men were grabbing women's butts digitally, and women were complaining because all, all like.
Ain't that a boy thing to do or a guy thing to do? Like,
It's like,
that's
I'm
fucking,
digital.
that's right. There's no rules here now. Fuck.
I mean, to me, the weirdest thing is for a company like B&O that is handcrafted, bespoke, all those sorts of things that are marketing terms, but they sort of work because they actually make stuff, right? And you can disagree on or not on whether it's worth it and whether it's actually well made or not. But at least there's something there that you can literally inspect and touch. I wonder what this cost and whether this was getting eyeballs on something, and if that was worth it, and how they measure that. Because for like I showed the stock just now. I mean, it's still 8.85 Danish kroner, which is like €1.10 per share. It's like, oof.
See, I agree with Mark Bauer there. Some people do spend more time in the metaverse than in the real world. MMOs and Second Life things, quote unquote, they have been around for many years. If you can put your speakers in your online house, why not? I'm not saying you can't or you shouldn't, but I'm just saying, like, okay, how much would let's say how much would you pay for the 90s as a fucking 3D model? First of all, second of all,
Don't forget you have to pay in Ethereum.
And so if it goes up, yes, so you got to wait for the dip, I guess, or whatever. So then you got them. So you have them in the house, in your virtual house that you spend more. And you know what? I can relate to this because I used to fucking bang out 10, 12 hours of Battlefield 2 back in the yesteryears, right? I have 1,500 hours in one attack helicopter out of the entire game. Like, that's just on its own how much time I spent flying the fucking thing. So I understand that, and for me that was important. But for me at that time, it wasn't important really what to put in the game. First, it's a first-person shooter type of thing, right? So it's just you just go against people. So it's not like a Sims or whatever that you just like build a house and you sit there and you water your fucking virtual plants and feed your virtual animals and dogs and pets and whatnot. And if you don't, then everything dies. Yes, then I understand that. Yeah, you want to have some design that you basically like. I guess you recreate what you can't afford for the same money that you may have afforded it in real life. So you just put it in the virtual world. Maybe I don't get it. I'm too fucking old for this, I guess. But yes, a lot of people spend a lot of time online, and I was one of those people. And quite honestly, I think the most liberating thing that I've ever done for myself is stop fucking playing video games for so long. Waste my goddamn life.
I still spend a lot of time online, but it's with actual people generally. I mean, it's a lot of text and maybe the idea of the metaverse of actually conversing.
So what it would be like? We would have this podcast. Everybody would have their avatar, I guess, is what they call these fucking characters now, right?
Yeah, because you can make yourself in your own image, but it doesn't have to be representative of you.
So yeah,
at all.
I come in there and
I'm all buff and like.
I identify as a squid, right? So I come in there and I sit there with all my tentacles and shit, all sucked in on the couch, right? And then we're all like hanging out, like this is fucking normal. And at the same time, just sitting at home, half naked, eating Cheetos with VR goggles and a fucking headset.
Yeah, we're turning to that
the Matrix, you know what I mean?
South Park episode of World of Warcraft.
That's, you know what I'm saying? Like that's where that's not my life. I'd rather go outside, have a cigar with real people, talk to real people, have a real interaction, and that's just yeah. that's just how I operate. I don't really have a need anymore to be, remotely speaking to anybody, but I'm doing this once a week anyways to a lot of people, I guess. Well,
Do you want to
50
meet
now that
this
are
guy?
watching. Oh, for the love of God, look at him.
I mean, he looks weirder in the metaverse than he does even in real life. Like, how did you
That's
manage
right.
that?
This is the fucking awful ass caricature of him.
I mean,
But I don't know.
I don't by design hate it. I just think for a company that's not swimming in cash, it's a weird thing to put a lot of
Effort in.
time and effort in. When
Hmm.
I mean, was it last week or the week before that we went over financials and that they put a hiring freeze in and stuff like that, except for
2 weeks
people
ago.
for software? And I wonder if this falls under software, and if so, it's like,
Of course it does. Well, you don't have any
uh,
tangible product from this.
means it's something I was thinking of basically earlier today. And am I being pedantic in that they said they would launch 1,925 NFTs, and they're all going to be different in one way or another because of the year they were founded?
That's right.
And am I pedantic in thinking the last two times you did a limited edition, they weren't limited? So,
Don't do 1927. Oh, because that's when the speaker was invented. So
well,
don't put
or
too
we
much.
give one away for charity or whatever, or yada yada yada.
Hmm.
I, I, I have. I mean, this is what it does to me, and that's what I tried to convey back then. The next time you do anything limited, I'm gonna be looking at you like, I'll see that.
How limited are we here talking?
Are we like 10 over, or are we on the money, or are we just gonna do another thing that's basically the same but call it otherwise limited because it's a different metaverse or something?
No, I don't. Yeah, I just don't buy it literally, and I don't buy it as far as like I understand what those fungi tokens are and nonsense, but I just don't care.
I
I
like a pizza
don't care.
fungi.
I don't like. I don't even like the mushrooms on the pizza. I don't like that. I don't like mushrooms at all.
God, that's going to be awful if the 100th anniversary product will only be available in the metaverse.
You can't be serious.
I doubt it, but if this is the creator economy, well, if this is the creator economy, we're creators too. Should we put NFT tokens on all these podcasts and sell them? Because apparently I can sell you the token and you don't have the commercial right. I'll still have that. So I can still make money off of it on YouTube, but I can sell it to you to make money off of it.
Yeah, but you don't really own it. That's so weird.
So you can have the original copy of every episode we've done. So we have 234 available tokens.
How much time is it altogether that you would have to spend watching this at this point now? Can you pull that statistic?
No.
But that's a lot.
It's
because we done like
on average like 2.5. And then there's 85 odd Monday shows of about 2 hours.
It's thousands of hours, I think, by now.
Let me do a quick calculation. 2, 3, 4 times 2.5. It's 585 hours plus 85 times 2 is...
What? Your calculator broke on that number?
No, I did it wrong. I forgot the brackets.
Don't give me a square root, bro.
No, so it's 585 plus 170. So we're around 800 hours of streaming.
Fuck. That's a lot of time, dude. How many consecutive days it is?
Let's meet in the middle, divide by 32.3.
Shit, so we're over a month solid.
Yeah.
Damn, bro. That's a lot of talking about B&O.
Yeah, you're welcome,
and
B&O.
other
We're in the
things.
creator economy.
That's
NFT us,
right.
man. Mint us.
Where
Put us on the blockchain. I mean,
I don't think.
I do like it for the artists and stuff they work with, because, I mean, if they were to actually make an A9, maybe not with that weird cover, but with legs like that, I would like that.
I thought that was real.
No, that's the NFT, because it's the like sort of marble cover weird thing on the front.
Shit, couldn't you like order those aluminum legs from STB and discolor them in that fashion? Probably.
Probably.
Just take a flame torch to it or the heat torch, and I think that'll discolor that, wouldn't it?
This
No.
purple is usually titanium, though.
Oh,
Aluminium
titanium legs would be cool.
Yeah, aluminium usually goes a bit brownish, sort of not so nice.
Mm-hmm.
But like, if artists, like if the NFT artists come up with cool designs or color combinations, I'm perfectly okay with that. That I like about this. The amount of time and effort this has taken, I don't quite get it. Like, unless it's absolutely for the marketing and getting eyes on it. I don't understand how this is in any way comparable with the Balenciaga or the Berluti
nonsense
sort of collaborations, because it's not really. Like, there's, I mean, in a sense, I guess at the surface level there's like two experts coming together, but you end up with something that you can actually. I mean, imagine if you went into a B&O store and went for the Beosound Balance Berluti edition, and you give your dealer some money, and then your dealer says, as soon as you sell it, I get a cut of it. I mean, NFT rules apply.
Yeah, that would be sucky.
Also, you can't use it in a bar or anywhere you make money, because people may have the design for it or whatever. It's like, I like the art part of it. That's not the problem to me. It's just the terms and conditions are really weird. I don't understand how they say the B&O DNA collection, because
So all of it.
well, this is what it's called, right? What is the B&O Bang & Olufsen DNA collection? This is the NFT thing is apparently in B&O's DNA.
You know what? I think that somebody that eats a lot of vegetables in their office had decided that, well, why not we just take the entire, if they're going to do the entire collection, let's just take the entire AutoCAD model collection of the 3D models and make NFTs out of them with cool skins. That's basically what this is it for me.
Generic enthusiast says art of the impossible, eh?
Fudge. So
art of the non-tangible, eh? I mean, I like Ethereum, and I like a lot of the crypto and stuff. It's just I don't get how this ties into B&O at all, other than getting a younger
trying
crowd.
to get some money out of it. Yeah, trying to get some cash out of a younger crowd. That's basically it.
But then what I also don't understand is when you listen to the financial things they do every quarter, is that they complain that, or at least apparently, part of the price hikes and or part of the big spenders with B&O are people complaining that it's not exclusive enough. And
Yep.
I mean, people like you and I are sort of like, by the big spenders are like, why do these plebs have B&O? And then you go like, oh, let's do NFTs because that's approachable for everybody. And it's like,
how is it?
I don't rhyme these ideas with you. I don't understand how this makes sense with one another.
But if they're gonna make 1,925 NFT products, right, or whatever the funds you stay there, so how much are they gonna sell this shit for?
They
That's
won't
what I
tell
wonder.
you. You get So the thing that happened over on the Discord for B&O is that you got whitelisted and you get first refusal rights if you're in there. And there were like 500 spots or something like that.
They filled them up?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Within like an hour or two.
Okay. Well, there's more naive people than I thought. That's good.
Well, like crypto, there's a lot of people into NFTs and crypto in general, which I understand. And it's not really my thing. I keep an eye on it, and I am much more in tune with the whole crypto market than NFT per se, because
well, to me, NFTs are like stamps. You can lose them in the fucking house fire. Like the value can just go down off the thing, no problem.
Mm-hmm.
Crypto's a little different, right? Yeah, well, everybody's eating freaking sauerkraut now because it's just like the whole market's fucking on its knees. Well, so almost on its back at this point. But hopefully it'll turn back around. It will, but I don't think that like NFTs and whatever. But then again, like it's hard to argue that because like the price of art always goes up. Like you don't just buy cheaper shit.
But to me, and this is not, I guess it's mostly NFTs, but what I don't get about digital art is like, what the fuck does it matter whether you have the rights to it or not? Because I can copy paste it and look at the same thing. And I personally don't care that I have the original. Like I
know that's what I don't understand
for the
about
people
it
that ever downloaded a movie or a TV show or something. Like, did you care that it wasn't originally aired on the proper channel?
Well, I think this is more catered to the generation, what I would call the post-Napster and post-Demonoid and generation and post-uTorrent generation. Like these are the people that are like, I just own it. I'm like, bro, like back when I was your age and thinking, I have never like everything. We fucking pirated everything back then. I don't know if I should fucking publicly admit that, but that's just what it was, right? We just ate like fuck. I remember working in the architectural firm and I get a phone call from my cable company saying that I'm over half a terabyte in data. And like they're gonna penalize me. I'm like, oh fuck. I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about. My internet has been slow as shit. So I played it off as a retard. And I'm like, yeah, I just bought a new router. And did you put a security password on it? And I'm like, no, I didn't ask for it, right? So like somebody just logged into my, I'm like, yeah, fuck, this will work only once. So then I had to limit my consumption, and I just offloaded everything into the Office servers. But yeah, like we used to download shit for free, man. It took you 6-7 tries to download a song off an Napster because sometimes they had those blips and shit in them, or the file was garbage, or like the song was garbage and encoded, right? But you could build an entire library out of things. Where nowadays, like I that's what I just don't see the value in this NFT. As far as
because you can't really use it as such. Like at least with a Bitcoin or whatever, you can pay. You can use it as a process of payment, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, like Mark says, it's only for bragging rights. You're correct that once these are out there, there's nothing stopping someone copying it. It's like, but also if you copied it, how would you know unless you really inspect it? Like, and I don't mean because you won't see it visually, right? Like, there's not like there's like a watermark on it. Like this doesn't have the correct.
Yeah.
Like it's not like you pirated Windows and you have that little thing down below.
There's a way to fix
like
that.
This version is not activated or whatever.
Oh, we're gonna activate you. Hold on. But yeah, I just don't get it, man. And yeah, if it feels good for you, that that you're the original owner of the actual code that, when put on screen, makes that picture, good for you. I'm okay with the screenshot from a fucking Microsoft Paint.
AKA my thumbnails.
Word.
I should NFT my thumbnails.
But yeah, it's just, this is, how I feel about that. And you know what, if anybody wants to chew my ass out because of it or because we're uninformed, dude, I'll take my pants off. I don't care.
mean, the reason I guess overall I don't like it has nothing really to do with the whole NFT practice thing. Not
I wonder if
essentially.
there's NFTs that are gonna have like software issues.
I should hope not. Maybe in 10 years, like, you won't be able to read a JPEG anymore because it's JPEG X now, and it's
That's
not
right.
backwards compatible.
For the love guy. So yeah, then you sit there with the freaking 8.5 by 11 print of it, or
Yeah.
A4 in Europe, I guess.
But
It's just
what
stupid.
I like I said, I don't get the business idea behind it. So it's not really the NFT part. Like, I don't like make this make sense. Why is this great? Because if
How
it's
does it benefit BNO?
yeah,
I
as a
don't understand.
company, because the people that spend a lot of money with BNO, which they need, in general, aren't the tech bros. I'm sorry to say, you guys tend to have a lot of money, the real tech bros, but you live really sparsely.
But man, like anybody that walks into the shop, you fucking say that, they would look at you like you just fell off a cherry tree. Like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, it's just you wouldn't have a clue because they don't know. Like, maybe some educated ones. You get every now and then one of those. Oh yeah, I work in tech. So how is this all like future proof and stuff, right? But
Nothing ever is.
nothing ever is, and that's what I say. Like, nothing ever is. BNO is, as far as future proofing is, and obsolescence deal. I think they're one of the very last companies that actually give a shit about going backwards.
Oh, for sure.
More or less, it's in their DNA, no pun intended. But they have to be backwards compatible because it's always been that way. It's always been that way.
Not
Like,
just that,
you
they
could
lose
buy
so
it.
much of their big customers if they didn't.
Oh, they'd be fucked. There's no way that they'd be fucked. Like, remember when they tried to get rid of the network link?
Basically, everyone was okay. I'm not buying anything new anymore. Goodbye.
No, like whoever did that in the meeting should be slapped upside the back of the fucking head and asked to walk outside to get some fresh
Not
air.
like that. A full-on backhander.
That's right, with all the fucking 4-finger rings on and shit. Like, get one of those playoff rings, you know what I mean? It's just a ball of metal coming in your head. But, like, you know what? Grab some fresh air or smell the coffee, whatever wakes you up. But this is fucking crazy. What do you mean you're going to obsolete the network link? And that never happened because obviously, like, we bitched about it hard. But
I
I don't know if
remember John just casually mentioning it because it was in the brief, and everybody was like, "What?
what did you just say that for real?" But no. So, and that's the thing that, and that's even my pride and joy about this company, that you can say, like, I am old enough now that I could be a father to the children that my clients are, right? And you show them, like I put together a 9,000 for a guy that he's gotten his stolen out of his house when his house got robbed. It was years and years ago, and he finally, was on my waiting list for a few years to get a Mark III 9,000, and we got it. And the kids came downstairs and asked, the the girl, and it's like, "How old are you?" She's like, "I'm 16," and her brother was 17, right? And I'm like, "So you were born in like 2005 and whatever in 2004?" She's like, "Yeah." I'm like, "This is from 1996," and just like the fucking in their head that it's like, what? I'm like, "Yeah, this is, take your hat off, son. Have some respect for this player."
This
Yeah,
is
and this is
from
even over.
1974, I think.
But you know what I mean? Like, it's just, if you look at it, like, holy shit, like, you have a CD player from 1996 that you still considered to build a device that will bring it up to the level that you could control it with nowadays equipment and phones and whatever, and the remote. That's not even but just having an app and stuff. Like, it's insane. Like, there's no when. Go fucking take a remote control from an old Sony receiver from 15 years ago and try to turn on the receiver today. Maybe only the power button will work, maybe the volume, but I don't think they retain any of those codes.
David says, I guess Bino wants to get to the metaverse ahead of Bose.
I think that Bose just looked at it and said, "This is bullshit," and we're moving on.
But think of the 3D sound in the metaverse with Bose. Because those little cubes will have massive sound.
That's right. You can buy them in better resolution.
God, you're gonna need an RTX 1490 to look at your Bose speaker. Otherwise, it's too blocky.
God damn it to hell! You know what? Like, I just good for you, Biano, that you like woke up 3 years after the party and go in there to do it.
I mean,
okay.
I have the slight sort of same, I don't know, criticism, I guess, of the whole cradle to cradle certification, because it's sort of, we're now green and ecological, and it's like, yeah, but if you don't have to rebuild stuff, that's the greenest thing you can do, right? Like, B&O has always, in that sense, been green. Like, the amount of stuff from literally the 70s that still works with minimal attention, that's the greenest thing you can make. Like, why not promote that, like, even in marketing terms? I understand, but I think investors may want a tangible certificate or something, but...
Well, I think, first of all, that's a Greta Thunberg fucking certification. That I personally think it is, this whole cradle-to-cradle thing that we just want to, make believe. But I think
they use a lot more plastic now.
Yeah, but if you look at it logically, like back in the day, like in the PCB boards, complexity, you could not compare to the level of complexity now. Now you just can't just go into a fucking board and like desolder a transistor or a resistor or a trim pot or whatever and just put it back. Trim pots you could, but like when you get into this, like when it gets to the level where you need a microscope, bro, I don't give a fuck how much vodka you have before you do the little precision. There's no way your hand's going to be steady enough for you to do that. That's machine level of precision. So that being said, if that cradle to cradle certification means that you have modular blocks to replace the let's say the theater becomes outdated because now it's an 8K era, right? And it can't do 8K. So they're going to come up with a new video board module. Well, hey, how much is the cost of it? First of all, second of all, is it worth for me to do the upgrade or not? And then, is the tech of the time being able, or the upgrade, would it be able to be fit into the same amount of volume and space that the original products allows for from the original design for what the hardware was there before the upgrade? So, like, would you have to have a certain way that the transistors and the processors or chips would have to be arranged because the cooling and because the way that the older system or older board was, that's the way that we designed the cooling? Or how do you deal with all of that? So that's my question as far as the cradle to cradle thing goes. I appreciate the fact that yes, you can replace the battery, but will you be able to replace the battery in the level in 20 fucking years? I don't think so, bro. I don't think in 20 years we're going to be using lithium batteries.
Probably not. Probably could be carbon based by then.
Or something. So like,
I just hope it's carbon based, because otherwise we wouldn't have batteries. So
those are the things that I'm more or less looking at, is like from the logical perspective versus something that is just our ketchup is better than their ketchup for the fries. Well, at the end of the day, it's just still fries.
We rarely use ketchup here.
Oh, Jesus Christ, dude. I've entered the land of mayonnaise. Like, holy fuck. Everywhere.
Ooh, la mayonnaise.
Can I get some ketchup, bro? Oh my God. Just fuck. Like, how do you eat a burger with the fries and mayo?
Like you would ketchup.
I know, but that's just wrong, dude. That's wrong and like fundamentally wrong. But fuck. Like, anyways, I off tangent. Yeah, god damn it, to hell with mayonnaise. But that's, I just, and I'm not like trying to be a doubter or a nay-nayer about the whole cradle to cradle certification thing, but I just wonder how relevant that thing would be, because if you look at it in the same token, say you have your theater for 10 years, right? You moved with it a couple times, probably, your kids fucking dinged it and stuff and whatnot, and now all of a sudden, like, Are you gonna replace the module, or you're just gonna go in and buy new cool shit with this current, up to date, new network protocol by now, or faster some, better connection to speakers, right? There's more of that, and probably a different Dolby by then, right? Like, are you gonna go and put a goddamn board back in? Are you gonna revive the floppy disk, or are you gonna go and move on to the USB sticks? Right? Like that's what it is, and it's diaper to diaper. Just generating enthusiast on Twitch. Anyways, so to me, it's just like it's a fancy, it's a vegan term. It's a
Yeah, it's a
vegan term for
certificate that is sort of
it's a letter
essentially
certificate.
meaningless because they've always, like, the amount of people that still run pentas and still fix them because you can still buy repair kits and all that. And I mean, this is from what, the mid 80s. These things are 40 years old, sometimes 40 plus years old, and it still works. This thing is like 50 years old. This thing is more than a decade and a half older than I am.
Fuck.
It's like,
right.
And I think all it did ever was get a new belt and get some new oil in the motor.
Bearings. Yeah, that's it. Well, you don't need anything else.
I mean,
Maybe a new
if
needle
that's not reliable and or green, then I don't know what is. Because, I mean, the waste is minimal. Because the oil just is not really waste. It's that little. It's like a gram or two. And then you have a belt, which is like 10 grams of waste. I mean, that lithium battery that you have to replace is it's pretty awful to recycle.
It's not really that friendly to recycle at all.
No.
Sorry for that for users.
So it's, I don't know. It's. I guess I understand why they have it, because
it's cool.
The bigger investment companies probably want to see that certification. It's like, if you don't have an MBA, you cannot possibly know anything about business, right?
Yeah,
that sort of idea. It doesn't really make much sense to me personally, but I mean, is it Zuckerberg? I mean, he didn't finish his school. He's a multi-billionaire, but if somehow it doesn't apply to him.
A lot of people that are in positions that are in, they didn't really finish much of education, and it's it's the same thing. Like, I never really finished my mechanical engineering degree. I'm not that I'm super successful, but in what I do, there's really no school for.
No.
There's absolutely no school for. There's not even training in their own company within for what I do. Really, like, your training is how to sell. Yes, you have a couple of videos on how to take shit apart. Cool, at least thank God for that. Because back when the world was black and white, in analog times, you just get a manual and that's it.
Yeah, so those were the days. Yeah, I don't know, this NFT thing. I don't get it on a financial and business sense level. It's weird, and I wonder what it costs them and when it's deemed. Because if it's a marketing exercise and getting eyeballs in the company, that's fine. But surely you would want some sales attached to that, and maybe the sales is in the NFTs because we don't yet know what they'll cost. But I have a hard time.
I think that's to me, it looks like they're.
What would this cost? I mean, I bet you this has cost them at least $100K to set this all up and pay
if they can bring in $1 million or something, then or even if they sell one NFT for $1,000 each, that's $1.9 million, right? That they just basically made money out of thin air. Thin air.
Would anybody buy still an NFT of a sort of niche company for that much? I mean, maybe one. I can't think it's.
They sold it to the fucking Balenciaga bags for 8,200 euros, man. Do you think there's not a
retard? Yeah, but
is
that because of B&O or because of the Balenciaga?
Either or. It's sold out.
I mean, but at least it's something tangible, right? And it's an actual one-off. or 20 off, whatever it was.
Yeah. I just don't know. I think it's a silly move in the time and era we're in right now. I think they missed the boat on this again. But what do I know, right? Maybe the time runs differently in Struer. And I've been there and I didn't feel it. So I didn't feel like I was back in fucking 2013 when I went in 2015.
Jesus.
There you go. Cat's showing its rectum.
Well, we went to is it winter time, right? So he's like, actually my dinner time was like 45 minutes ago, so fuck you, feed me.
What are you doing? Still on the computer?
It's not like he can look at the clock and go, oh, stuff has changed.
I can't believe it didn't teach your cats how to tell time. That's stupid.
I tried, but he wasn't having it.
Yeah, the internal clock is ticking. All right, they're hungry now. Soon enough, they're gonna start tripping out because it takes like a few weeks for them to adjust.
Yeah, well, a day or two here generally.
That's not that bad.
No, but yeah, it's, I don't know. It's, I mean, B&O has had quirky ideas throughout their existence as a company.
Yes.
And some were more successful than others, and they were usually far ahead of the curve. It just seems that with this one, they're a bit lagging, and
I think they're behind the curve on that. At the end of the day, I think that was just too.
I'm not even sure it matters, other than it seems like a big investment into something that's
Not relevant, really.
no.
Not in the. I don't think it's not. It may be relevant to the younger crowds again, like the post Napster generation, but to us,
But the thing is, when you listen to the financial quarterly reports and stuff, it seems like they don't really want them, because it needs to be more exclusive. Because if you want a younger generation, like, really, you start with 400 or 500 euro headphones? Because if you really wanted those people, surely you would still have a H4 Gen 2 or something in that line there, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I love the portals, and I think they're a decent value for money. But I also think if you're 21, 500 euro is quite a lot of money for a set of headphones.
Especially you're in an age group where people can get it fucked up, right? Or you lose them or damage them because
Yeah, but you're also most likely a student, and I don't know about how students
yeah.
are over there, but you don't generally have a extra 500 just laying around every month.
Well, you don't need it every month, but
no, but it's not something you just go out and like, oh, I just bought some headphones today. They were 500 euro. It's fine.
No, I think that's something as a student, I think you have to consciously make an effort to save up for.
Yeah.
It's not a, yeah. But then again, I don't think that's really that different from how I grown up. Because if I wanted to buy myself a stereo back when I first started high school, I guess, or whatnot, fuck, in Calgary, I found a job.
Sure,
went
but
to work
like
and then
we had the H4 Gen 2s, which were like 300 euro, which is 200 euro less, which is substantial. I mean, you probably still don't have 300 euro extra a month laying around, but it's not as significant as 500. I mean, and now we have 500 and what, 850 for the H95s or however much it is.
Mark, I wouldn't be surprised how many people haven't heard from B&O or of B&O because I deal with it every day. I know that everywhere I go, and who do you work for? Brian Olufsen. What? Okay, here we go, the story again. So, no, I completely understand that it's not a brand, and you know what? Just I guess to a little bit disagree with you on that. More and more people that are owners of a newer generation, and I talk like a last year model or this year current model, or I guess 2 years ago. If you get into a Ford, then there's a BeoPlay system in it, so you are now dipped at least into the fact that you can see the logos on your grills, and the sound is better, of course. So it's gaining very slowly in attraction of popularity. It's never going to be recognized in a brands like Rolex or Patek Philippe or Armani or any of that, because that's just not who they are.
But the thing is, if you want to be exclusive, you don't want that anyway. You
That's
just
right.
need the people that you need to know to know.
Hmm.
Like, if I want to be exclusive, and if I knew, I don't know, 150 millionaires in New York, it's plenty.
Hmm.
Because their friends can ogle at whatever you have that nobody's ever heard about. And that's exactly where you want to be.
Yes.
I mean, Gucci is, for all its intents and purposes and pricing, it's not exclusive.
No, Gucci is
I
just
mean, even the homeless
generic.
guy on the street knows about Gucci.
Hmm. Probably wearing some underwear from. Never know what you find in the dumpster, I guess.
But yeah, here it's €500, €500, and €899, €900 for the H95s. It's like, I mean, the headphones are quite exclusive for the price because you can get a lot of good headphones for those sorts of prices.
You know what though? I've been listening to the H95s. They just not for me, man. I prefer the sound of the Portal.
Me too. It's more fun. It's not as clinical. It's not. I mean, the H95s are more accurate, for sure.
They're too accurate for me though. I think like for a headphone, like I don't know if it's just like I'm not used to that or I just find them very tonally sharp on the top end.
Yeah, the BLab One, like I think I said that
Yes.
in my review.
Yes.
Actually, I mean they have some bass, but again, it needs to be asked for. I like them a lot. It's just this is a bit more toned down. It's not as sharp. It's not. It's a. It's more bassy, which is fun to listen to. It's yeah. There's a overall a more pleasant sound because it's not as accurate. And I don't wear headphones for the accuracy anyway. And nor do
No.
you.
No. So yeah, if that's all you can afford and you can just go with the H95s, I guess, then all the power to you. But then again, then it's a double-edged sword because let's say you're a gamer. Well, if you're a gamer and you're scraping up for the best sounding headphones, then I think you should stop at €499 and go with the portals. I wouldn't
Yeah.
even go all the way up to the H95s because there's no point.
Koa, I can't pronounce your name fully, but you know you are. Inflation rate was way different back in the day. Millennial poverty is a big problem, especially in the US, so offering the more affordable products is much more relevant. I think that's partially why B&O is working with Amazon a bit more and why there was so much on Amazon because, I mean, like I said, was it last week? When China went into full lockdown, where you couldn't even go out to buy anything, all that inventory just got diverted to the US and with a lot of discount, but it sold and people seem to be happy with it. I mean, I still think for the US, something like uh, the theater is probably a good thing for the US, but also the stage is great for the US.
Stage sold a lot here, man. A lot. Theater, we already sold 7 pieces or pre-sold 7 pieces. I honestly, the only issue that I have with the theater, I think that before it gets too far out into the world, I think they should just patch the software and take the fucking bass down on it default. It's too much, especially at the lower volumes. I find it's just too much.
If you turn loudness off and have it tuned anyway in a room like this, it's not too much. It's actually quite nice. I really enjoy it. Like, I agree that in the shop it's quite a lot, but I think it's partially the volumes that shops tend to be. To me, the biggest difference between going to listen to a store demo and the theater IRL, as in like in an actual living environment, is that it sounds better in the living environment. And partially because the rooms are generally smaller, but also because there's more soft stuff
That's right.
and
Yeah, where we have
ceilings aren't as silly high generally.
Yeah, where we have the theater, it's absolutely the most impractical spot to put it in, or the worst spot I would say to put it in. So
I mean, there's a lot of bass, but it's not excessive, I wouldn't say. But I do have loudness turned off. And it mattered a whole lot, like with the 50s, whether I had the door to the hallway open or not.
hmm.
Because last time I retuned them, the initial time I tuned them was with that door open, and I redid it last Monday or something with that door closed, and it was, I mean, both were good, but it was better. It wasn't as excessive as quickly. Only when you went to silly territory, as in like 70-ish volume. But by then I'm getting scared, as in like I'm destroying the concrete and
Yeah, but for us, like right now, we only have one theater in the shop because none more are available at the time. So we just have that instead of 18 set up, and I find that when it's playing on its own, it starts to run away from itself a little less than when it's playing with the 18s. But then again, like it's in a completely unoptimal place where it's at. So
do you have the loudness turned on or off?
I shut the loudness off.
And at what volume does it run away from itself, do you think?
Oh, around 60, 65.
Hmm. Interesting.
But it's, I don't know if it's, well, obviously not. And it's not the rattling. It's just I find that,
No, I thought you meant the woof, woof, like
yeah, the woofiness of it, right? Like it just gets, it's not that it runs away from itself in the way that then, like at 65, all of a sudden, like you would expect there's to be a lot more bass, but there is not because like it runs so much bass at the lower level that that it builds that anticipation and like, well, fuck, if this is at 40, what the fuck does it do at 65, 70, right? But then, not that the ABL it's just like it gets louder in a different way. So I'm trying to say, it's weird to explain, but I find that the vocals, the center channel starts to a little bit dwindle away from itself with all this
so
shit going on and whatever.
you probably are sort of saying that what you heard what Henrik heard, because I still haven't heard that, and maybe it's because the shop you hear it in is bigger. I don't know,
Hmm.
but I still
Yeah,
haven't heard that here at all.
it sounds good on the music sometimes on some play in some, but like yeah, for the movies, I don't know if it was a shit demo, but then like I'm like fuck, like we have the same file on the harmony, so let's just watch through the harmony. And now honestly, I'm quite on the fence. Like I fucking gonna end up with the harmony, I think.
Nah, I doubt it.
Maybe I'll
Because if
buy
you
the
if you
theater
take the
just for the
theater
shits
home,
and
it's
giggles.
a different story.
I think so too. Once I see it here and
Not
hear it
only
here.
not only will whatever you experience with that probably not be there at all, because I take it this shop is what,
It's big.
it's like at least 150 square meters of openness, which is unrealistic for any home situation.
No, it's not. There's no way that you would have that much open space. Yes, there is in the houses that I go to, but then again, if you are doing that, those houses are not going to be just a standalone theater. That's going to be a full-on set of speakers,
Because
front, back, and center.
when I was demoed the pre-production unit in a similar size like that, and I think that shop is 150-ish square meters, that's somewhat open. At least all the doors were open to everywhere.
Hmm.
It was with 90s, and there was none of this vocal nonsense thing going on. It was sharp as a tack.
I just need to hear it in my house, or well, this kind of whatever this is right now. But I think I'll be moving at the end of this month. Not this month, but end of November, I guess, into my actual unit,
Yeah.
which is 3 more floors high. Fucking 15 floors high off the ground, bro. Like I'm still having a like, I always shit a little when I like hang over this the railing. I'm like, oh, if this lets go, oh.
How? By the way, speaking of the bass, have you observed the same sort of thing theater versus 28s, whereas the theater is a bit milder, or do you think it's more in line with the 28s?
As far as acoustics go,
Yeah, the bass, as in how forward it is, and
I think the bass runs away from the 28s much faster than it does from the a theater. Like well, and then again, like I guess I'm too tainted by living with the 90s for 6 years and have really nothing else to listen to other than a, like, 12 tile shape which is in my bedroom that I listen to with one ear. So if I were to always actively listen to music, so I have a very, very distinct digital acoustic footprint of what the speakers should now sound to me, based off of the fact that I'm coming off of, not coming off, but I guess I am coming off of 6 years living with the 90s because I don't have them around me now. So I'm forced to listen to. I'm living with the fucking level. Oh my God. It's terrible. And that thing just falls apart like as soon as you get, because you get a couple beers and shit and turn it up, all of a sudden, like, I'm like, oh, that's so.
isn't
It's
that
too
why you bought the
coffee.
level or a balance, I should say?
No, I didn't buy the balance. I just brought it in, but I'm waiting for the theater. I think I'm not going to see mine before the January because obviously, as an employee, you're put on a fucking back burner till the main plate gets cold enough. So I will patiently wait. I thought about the stage. I'm still thinking about the stage in the smoked oak. Like I'm going to take the wood one. I don't know, but uh, when it comes to the 28s, when I listen to them, like they sound very good, but they have this BeoLab 5-ish feel to them with the bass. But at certain levels, that bass just falls off. It runs away from it. It doesn't. It just cannot keep up. And like in the room that we have it, I would have the 28s with the Harmony A83 that we have right now set up. I would put a damn subwoofer with it, and I would also put a subwoofer with the theater for
Oh
when you
wow.
have the 18s in the back.
With
Just doesn't
18s,
enough.
with 18s alone, I can sort of see it potentially a
Yes,
bit.
that's how we have it set up.
But if you have the theater or theater with 28's rear, I mean you'll gain some, but it's going to be such a marginal investment.
That's what I was telling Dream, that we should set up the theater with the 28s. Like let's just do it like they fucking said, right? Let's put the 10 grand in front of 28, or and put 20 grand in the back, I guess, and see what it does. So I'm quite excited about that, and see where we go with it.
I mean, I thought that was a sort of mandatory setup from B&O.
Well, probably is. I'm sure we're gonna have. I'm gonna be the one doing it because when they come to like check on the minimum product display, like we have to comply, right? So
Do they let you
I'm
know before they come, or?
surprised, motherfucker. I don't know.
Well, I mean, I was kind of hoping it was that because if you know ahead of time, like you
I
don't.
hope it's surprise, motherfucker. I don't want to be like, okay, yeah, let's put some makeup on, Halloween, everybody's in a costume. Okay, cool. Look, Santa Claus came. Let's fuck off, right?
Would you like to buy this level? You get software.
So yeah, I don't know how they do it, but apparently there is secret shoppers that come around. I just hope it's not some obvious fucking Dane.
Hello, I'm just looking for a
Oh
dance.
God, yeah. Oh, we're getting on it, fuck everybody. Jeez. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know how they're gonna do it, when they're gonna do it, but I just find it funny, like now playing with the stuff around again, like I used to. That like you figure out different scenarios, what works and what doesn't work, and I'm a little bit surprised by how much bass that they had put into the theater. I just don't understand where that comes from. Like, is it that there was I
when
guess,
I
a
asked,
market research?
they thought the bass on the 28 was pretty spot on. And to me, it's like,
What do you
okay,
mean? What do you mean, right?
like because it was in line or something. It's like, no, it's not. Like nothing that I can remember attacks bass as hard as 28s do. And it's not bad, it's just not in line with anything else.
No, it's little OP as far as how they took it for the approach and how the bass is supposed to come out of these things. I think it's a little too
Sort
much.
of Beats by Beolab.
Yeah, I didn't want to go that far, but it's
Well, it's maybe not that far, but they
it's
pushed it
getting
right
close.
to that edge. Yeah,
It's going right around the territory, you know.
I mean, and maybe it's our age or something, and the speakers we grew up with, that it stands out so much. And maybe it doesn't stand out to new buyers, but
But I would counter agreement with or counter that statement with the fact like I come from 6 years of living with 90s, bro. Like there is not a more accurate, more powerful speaker that was ever built in B&O's portfolio. Whatever you throw at it, exactly that will come out of it in whatever volume you want. Your source and content quality dependent. That's all there is.
yeah.
So
I mean, it's to me, it's kind of weird, even in the same room, right? The 28s attack bass a lot harder than the theater does. Like the theater is softer, it rolls a bit more. It's not as on the bass.
punchy. Like it's really like they just want to like it's like a kid that's trying to impress. You know, it's like when you go over your friend's house and you have that golden retriever that starts bringing you all these fucking toys to you for no reason. It's annoying, right? But it's cool.
Yeah.
It's cute. But and I that's how.
I mean, there's still a lot of bass in the theater, but it's not as forward. It's
overly impressive in the 28s. That would be my statement to that. That it's overly impressive. It's just little too much. I find them, you know, as much as I dislike the 20s when we did the A to B test comparison and sounded and listened to both, the 20s blow the 28s out of the water when it comes to bass accuracy. Not on the the clinical precision of it, and also the narrow and whatnot modes and blah blah blah. But when it comes to how much bass the nines or 20s can roll out versus those two teeny weeny 6-inch drivers, is significantly different in acoustic.
Well, it's a different. I mean,
it's physics too, right? Like it's just a.
I mean, the bass on the harmony, you sort of hear the 4-inch strain, whereas with the theater, it's just so easy. You hear no strain. Yes. There's nothing pumping. It's just moving.
Mm-hmm.
And it's the same on the Beosound stage, sort of like if you put that loud, you start to hear that strain of like this tiny thing is trying to move so much air. And there's a sort of sound to it, like how you have a small ball and a large ball, and you tap them, and they give different rings.
That's right.
I mean, neither is bad. It's just a different sound. But
it's also expectations, right, that would come into play. Like some people think that this is going to destroy my room. Like no, not necessarily.
I mean, I must say though, the 28s sound a bit better with the theater than they do with the harmony. And I think it's the whole room compensation thing going on mainly. But they're still by far the most attacking speaker.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah. I mean, I still like them. If I had a theater in 28s, I'd get another set and I'd be totally fine with it. But since I have 50s, like, the sound signature is so clearly different that I'm going to sell them. So,
yeah. So there you have it, people.
So,
selling 28s, any takers?
I mean, I feel kind of weird about it, right? Because it's such a new speaker, and generally new toys I don't sell until they're much older. But it's just, I have a set of 17s, and they're way more in line with the rest sonically. Like, it's not the 17s performance-wise are not as good as the 28s, nowhere near. But they sound a lot more like the 50s. And since I have 50s and a theater, which is plenty bass capable enough, like I don't really need the bass from the 28s. It actually makes it a bit too much. I mean, to the point where literally concrete walls, pictures on it, and start doing that.
That's funny.
I mean, I'm dead serious when I say if I turn it up loud, I'm kind of afraid that I'm destroying the building because everything starts rattling.
The vibrations.
Yeah.
You'll be fine.
Like you see dust coming from the corners.
Chunks of concrete falling off your ceiling in the neighbor's house. But yeah, that's I don't know. I wonder if that was an intentional that they have changed their sonic signature, I guess, with the 28s versus 50s, or is it just us that are weird enough to notice? Like I'm sure that Jeff Martin would have an answer for it if he's allowed to say it.
Maybe it's a new direction. I don't know. I mean, I toned down the bass a bit, which helps. I have the bass set to -2 and loudness off. I mean,
but that was also one of the arguments or statements I was going to say that maybe that whole thing is just a narrative of market research to where the younger generation is, as far as like
people that
how
listen
much
to them in a
bass is-
void without any reference to modern other Beolabs love them.
Because it's got a lot of bass, it's impressive, it's overpowering, and a lot of like, wow, I can't believe it's coming out of this. But when you become a B&O Puritan in a way that like myself, that I don't really have.
Shame
on me, right? Like I don't own any other electronics, and whatever makes sound in my house bears the logo of the company. So it's a little different than somebody that never really dabbled in the B&O, but now they ventured into the store because they saw the fucking TikTok or an Instagram ad about the theater, right? So they get inquisitive, and then they look into YouTube, and everybody's like, holy fuck, this is crazy, right? And then they go in and they listen to it and like, holy fuck, this is crazy. And and then they decide to toss out their freaking Yamaha and Logitech speakers or whatever they have, and they put that in there and they're happy with it. But I look at it from a bit of a different perspective. I look at it from a perspective, okay, well, how much better does this make my life? A, can I tie it into a BeoLiving intelligence? That's my first question, because I know the sound's going to be there if you play with it enough that you can do that. Currently, right? So
it's getting
there's your
there
answer.
eventually.
The baby's crowning, but the head is not even out yet. Like, so it's going to be a while.
You can tap it.
I
to join.
You could do that, but that's as far as you can go. So, but now like they unlocked the new software with the gateway for me at least. So I'm in a special train, I guess now, because of the shop. So there are ways that you can it will take control and light commands, which I like because that's all I really give a shit about. So it's I got a room full of bows.
I mean, one thing I must say though,
oh god, I'm gonna throw up just now.
PowerLink or the internal Mozart thing also makes them sound differently. I don't know if you heard that in the story yet, whether you drive the 28s from the Harmony or whether you drive them from the top panel.
I haven't played with them because I'm having a hard time turning them on even when the TV is off via just tap on a speaker to turn it on to play music. It has to be, I don't know what the fuck. I'm going to start playing with it with the gateway and just set up.
Could be that there's a hum on the wire, because if there is, then it thinks, oh, I'm in BeoLab mode versus Beosound mode.
I doubt it, because once that 5-volt trigger dies, the speaker gets to turn off. It doesn't care for the signal.
Yeah, I've had the same thing quite often in the app, where the TV is on with just the center speaker, but I try to put something on the 28 and it says it doesn't work in PowerLink mode, and you press it again and then it starts.
That's fucking weird. Do you have an eco mode?
No.
I
mean, this is specifically through the app. Mine have always worked if I touch the top. I mean, obviously not when they're on with a TV. But
does it matter which one, or you have to go to the primary?
I don't know. I tend to go to the primary anyway.
Which one is the primary?
The one over there, not the one over
Closest,
there.
yeah.
So I actually haven't switched that. So almost never go to that one to touch that on top. I mean, unless I come in or out.
Yeah, but if you're going out to the balcony, you could potentially turn the system down if it's too loud, right, and whatever. Since you're not there, or turn it
Yeah,
up
but then it's
since you're not there.
generally already on, right? So I'd almost never started from that.
Fair point. Yeah, you don't touch it. Go touch it.
I bet you it works. Do you want me to go there and touch it?
Yeah, motherfucker. What do you think? I'm kidding. I want to see it. Just make sure you pause it quick enough so we don't get demotified or whatever, demonized or.
So far, so good.
I see them spreading.
Oh, I should have touched the my button.
Everybody hold their breath. You could hear the pin drop.
That worked.
But, okay. Well, fuck you then. Mine don't. I have to figure out what the hell. Do you have it set to automatic source selection? I mean, input selection? Because I think I gone and fucked up and I put mine into just power link only.
Yeah, no, automatic.
I think I put mine to power link only, so I guess that's an automatic middle finger for anything else you do with the speaker.
I use them so little on top because I prefer the power link that I press the pause play thing and it's touch to join. It's like, actually nothing's playing, so they're not joining anything. I should touch a my button instead.
That's right.
Now I have to turn them off, obviously.
Yep. Yeah, so that's cool that they work. Mine just don't. I don't know. I have to double check because I'm certain. I'm beyond certain that I had put them from automatic to power link because they had issue that like they did the one eye opened and the other one stayed shut with the lamellas.
How do you have them linked over Wi-Fi or through?
No, they're wired now. They're wired. But I had some like weird issues. This was before I had ripped out all the bullshit and put proper networking because they had abysmal. It was.
But you have them double wired in that case, then one for power link and one for Ethernet from one to the other.
Yes, exactly.
Because these are only wired for power link.
Oh, they're wireless between themselves. Okay, word.
So they're stereo connected for power link, but for themselves, it's wireless.
And no problem.
Yeah.
See, it's fucking ubiquity, bro. That's what it is. It's the shit that they run over here. It's a whatever Eros or some nonsense that I thought that like Eros was like a okay, cool. You guys have an access point. I'm like, so does that company make switches? No, they just make access points. I'm like, well, what the fuck is how do you manage the network? You know what I mean? You just what? You put a pretty girl in each fucking corner of the building, and there's no pimp. Like, what the fuck is happening here? Like, I don't know. Well, we just you just plug it into the router. I'm like, oh my god. And the network is literally, it's absolutely the most pivotal thing when you're in your house now. I don't care. Fuck.
If
you
you're
don't
into
have hot
B&O
water,
and you want to buy stuff, get a decent network.
Out of the gate, first thing, before you even consider investing into shit, invest into a proper network infrastructure. Go with Ubiquity or Package, whatever. Ubiquity is easier to buy and configure, by the way, than Package. But yeah.
I mean, B&O, you're doing the marketing a bit better. I like
That's right. Yep.
I mean, I don't want to shit on silly ideas like NFTs because they're not totally silly, but it's just I don't get why now. I don't get how it makes sense with all the other things. And it's like I don't know. And I know the NFT bros will probably still think I hate it, but it's some criticism. But I don't hate it inherently. That's not it at all. it's just.
Oh, you can't be that comfortable in that chair, bro. That you're bullshitting. I know, because that's the most uncomfortable chair. I don't know if you ever sat in that Bauhaus, whatever.
Oh,
Look at him.
that's by
Yeah.
no way the most uncomfortable chair I've ever sat in.
No, but that's no way he's that happy in it.
I mean, there's some designer from this city that has a chair that locally and internationally people fucking love, but it's fucking awful to sit in.
Because you're not supposed to sit in it.
No, but
That's like a chair where you let them sit your guests on to put their shoes on so they don't talk too long while they're doing it, and get the fuck out of my house. Oh, we're into this nifties again.
Yeah.
This would be actually a cool idea for a band.
How will I be able to connect my BeoLab speaker to the DNA connection?
Nobody wrote a reply. Oh, there's 7 replies. Let's see the replies, bro.
By the way, the Asian guy was from Squid Game.
Right, that's why I recognize him.
Yeah,
I thought it was from Star Trek, but I'm like, no. That's funny.
Funny to see BeoLab 90s and then Bino saying not meant to play music. Brutal.
Oh my god. Oh no.
Oh, BNO responded actually. Like, please note that the DNA BNO collection is a collection of 1925 non-fungible tokens, NFT stored on the Ethereum blockchain. Each NFT represents a unique digital.
At what point do you realize you're being trolled? Let's read.
Because and how do I listen to music?
Oh, and they went back at it. Okay, let's.
Thanks for replying. The idea behind this collection is to connect iconic product and sound of B&O. How the hell does a digital product like this connect sound to anything? And sound of B&O with pioneering artists from the NFT space creating unique collectible art, design, and music lovers in Web3. That said, there's digital B&O objects not meant to play music. I think they got the message at this point. But if, like, seriously, come on. I think both of us, every one of us, have been asking for more B&O art, aka the furniture, aka the trinkets they gave out for Christmas trees. I think last year.
Well, here's the floppy disk with a couple files. Fuck up. That's it.
I mean, the old pictures of the BeoLab 5s, right, in that black background with the light fading. That was fucking amazing. And real art, as in you could do something with it.
And there was also an acoustic panel for that, to boot.
Yeah, I mean, I love that picture. I haven't looked for one in a while, but or like the Attica desks and things. They're still around.
Mm-hmm.
But God, are they hard to find. But make actual art, please. I mean, I don't get how sound has anything to do with this. This is all design and not sound design.
Oh yeah, this is just pretty colors, that's all.
And like I said, I'm not even against it because, I mean, this whole idea of having legs like this is great. Please make that as an actual product. I mean, that would be sweet if you can get a set of A9 legs as after sale or whatever. You're probably going to ask, I don't know, €800 or something for it, but fine, whatever. Somebody will buy it. I mean,
it's funny
I
that you
like
could actually make that.
It's just weird, man.
Well, it is what it is, as they always say at the end. I'm not going to buy any of it. I'm not going to really support any of it either because I think it's a nonsense. But
I mean, I don't even hate it, but I bet you already I'm going to get a bunch of hate for my views on it. But
of course. Well, there's always trolls, right? So it is what it is.
I mean, I don't even mind it, but it's not. I'm not negative. I just don't fucking get how this makes sense for a company like B&O.
I think it's just an artificial way to make free money off of your existing files that you already have, and just give it to people. Make a little bit of different color scheme on it. Put a nice lipstick on a pig, and here you go.
I wonder what the dealer brief is on this, or if there even is one for NFTs.
I have not heard any chatter about this at all.
Because I don't know,
Till it
let's say
came out.
your big client that spends 200 grand with you every other year. I mean, she's getting on a bit. Maybe she's a grandma, and her son goes, or her grandson goes, "Grandma, can I get a B&O NFT for Christmas or whatever?" And she goes to the dealer. I mean, she will obviously not know what it is.
What do you have for a nifty B&O? And then she rolls in with the level.
Yeah, and then the dealer goes, "What? Oh yeah, is that thing we did once? These pictures." And then you have to go to the grandma, like, "Yeah, we sell pictures now." And she's like, "What, real pictures? No, digital ones. I can text you one, but it won't be the real one. You have to pay me and I'll text you the real picture." What?
How is the one that you texted me different from the other one? Because this one goes through blockchain. And that's where grandma lost it.
What is blockchain? Is that like Roblox? My grandson plays Roblox.
The blockchain, you get those square gold chain, that's a blockchain. God's sakes. But anyways.
Yeah, I'm gonna call it. This is
stay nifty, everybody.
Hopefully next week Eric or Henrik will be back to enlighten us how we got it all wrong and how we're silly and how we're
and Eric is gonna have he's gonna buy a few NFTs.
Good for him. I'm not trying to have people not buy it, but I just don't understand. If you're into this sort of thing, if you think this is valuable to you, go for it. But same with it, like if you love an emerge, buy one. It's not for me. That's all it is.
Yep.
Anyway, I'm going to call it. Thank you, everybody, for watching. Don't forget, we're on Substack, too, if you want the audio version. And listen.
Like and subscribe.
Like and subscribe and all that jazz, too. Come over to our Discord. I'll link that in the comments. And good fun over there. And see you tomorrow. And I don't know what you're doing tomorrow, but
I'm fucking booked.
All right.
No Monday for me.
I'll see you guys probably tomorrow, and I'll let you know.
See you all next week.
Have a good weekend. Bye.
Bye.